Hello, welcome once again to Pale Blooms and Beyond. Thank you for joining us today. If you do like the programming you see here and the musicians and artists that I visit with, please be sure and hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Steve Robshaw is an English guitarist who was a member of the prog fusion jazz rock band Skywhale. The band formed in 1974 in Bristol and played together until 1979. Members were Steve, guitar, flute, violin, synth; Stan Thewlis, flute, tenor sax; Paul Todd, saxophone; Howard Scarr, synthesizers; Dougall Airmole, bass; Mick Avery, drums; and John Schofield on percussion. The band would play live venues including Glastonbury and Stonehenge during their time together. At the time, there were just one album released, 1977's The World at Mind's End. In recent years, there's been a resurgent of interest in the band and the album. A CD release came in 2006, and PQR Records just reissued the album on vinyl this past May. Post Skywhale, Steve would play in Pete Brandt's Method, as well as on releases by ex-Van der Graaf Generator artist Peter Hammill and Judge Smith. Well, welcome, Steve.
Hi there.
Thank you for taking time out, and I'm glad we finally got together.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I've been waiting for this. Brilliant.
well, take us back to the beginning. Where were you born?
Oh, I was born in Huddersfield in Yorkshire.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know this place? Very small town, and not the sort of place for a teenage musician. So I moved straight to London and started playing blues bands and stuff. In fact, before that, I moved to York first of all and joined a jazz quartet.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough in that quartet to back Selena Jones. I don't know if you know that name very well.
No.
Around the time of Ella Fitzgerald and those great.
Okay.
She was one of those. You know, she was number 3, number 4, and she was in England. And I got to back her for a fortnight. I guess I was only 17 years old, and it was fantastic, man. I tell you. Playing with real jazz musicians, you know, that I'd been playing in blues bands only, and all of a sudden, you know, my natural jazz came out. The minute I started playing with jazz musicians, I became a jazz musician. You know what I mean. Even though I'd never played it before, my confidence it bloomed, and I found I'm a jazz guitarist and pianist for a good 10 years after that.
Well, she's 81. Selena, I was just looking her up.
Yeah.
Still around.
And if you do look, she's beautiful, man. Even now, she has a big orchestra, beautiful guitarists, all that stuff. And if you think I was doing that as a little boy, it's extraordinary. I was ever so lucky. I was just picked up. There was a jazz quartet moving through on their way to York to do this residency in a big club, and they needed a guitar player. And someone told them about me, and I got the gig. You know.
Is that right? Well, do you recall early on growing up, was there music in the house?
Oh yeah. Well, my mother was a fabulous shopping
really?
What do you call it? And
yes.
I didn't really appreciate that style at the time, but it was mind blowing watching her all the time. And by the time I was 7 or 8, I found the Brandenburg concertos in my mother's collection by J.S. Bach, and instantly, I stopped being a blues only musician and classical musician. Do you know the Brandenburg concertos? I guess.
Yes, I've heard it.
Yeah, fabulous. And it taught me all about harmony, counterpoint, where you can mix lots of instruments together and the man's genius. It impressed me so much. And then, fortunately, shortly afterwards, I found Andrus Segovia. You know, he was the greatest classical guitarist, and it was an album called Segovia Plays Bach. So all of a sudden, I've got this fabulous music that I loved, all being played on guitar by this great genius. And that's where my real playing started. I started playing 3 or 4 hours a day.
I was going to say that's a nice way to grow up, listening to that kind of music.
And, another one to add to that, my older brother. If you remember, right back in those days, they were called groups. You know, my brother had a group, and he was the drummer. And they used to rehearse in my parents' house. And oh, you love this bit. They used to leave Fenders, Stratocasters, E335s just in my place. And of course, I was a nervous little kid. Dare I even go near it? And they were guitarists, and they just said, "Oh, use it whenever you like, but don't break it." You know,
don't break it.
Of course, I got to play as much as I like. Gibson. My favourite was the 335, but you can see I'm a little guy. Even now, a 335 is too big for me. You know. Do you know guitars? You know guitars well.
It dwarfed you. No, I don't. I don't play any instrument. I don't play any instrument.
Well, the SG was the one that suited me. It's a small. It's like a Les Paul but smaller, and I still got the same one that I bought in 1970.
Is that right? You still have
beautiful. That? It's just over there. I'm surrounded by guitars and instruments.
I was going to say, I see a couple behind you. Yeah.
And if I turn this, will this just go like that?
You can. Yes.
Can you see my guitars there?
That's good. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, there are 14. And there are 14. But look at this. On the other side, there's my piano, my Logic Audio, and that's where I'm working at the moment. Okay. Can you see all that lot? It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I don't need a recording studio anymore because of this. You know, technology. I can sit here in my wonderful flat, and I guess I've got 25, 26 instruments here: violins, banjos, mandolins.
Do you happen to have a ukulele?
I don't have a ukulele.
That's the one you don't have.
I tell you what.
I've heard so many musicians. They started out with the ukulele before they graduated to guitar. So I thought I would.
Yeah, I guess. I tell you that the most interesting string instrument. I have a oud, a Middle Eastern oud. And it's fretless. It's 12-string, nylon string. So it has all these ridiculous elements of guitars, you know, fretless, nylon string, and 12-string together. And luckily, I'm a violin player, so the fretlessness doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
and it's fantastic, and it sounds so strange. It doesn't sound like a guitar. It sounds like something you'd hear in the Middle East, you know.
Right. I like those exotic instruments like that. I
Fabulous.
Really. Yes. Wow. Well, you mentioned your mom playing.
Yeah.
Was the guitar the first instrument you learned to play?
Well, I used to just tinkle a little bit on the piano, but I didn't really have any interest. But something that will make you laugh. We had 3 pianos in the house, three and a harmonium.
Oh, did you?
So once the piano started, it just whichever room you were in. Oh, right, here's the piano. we had a grand. One of them was a grand piano.
Did you have get-togethers, gatherings around the piano like the McCartneys did? You know, the Paul McCartney. Growing up, they used to have like family. Yeah.
Well, at the time, I had one of my older brothers, 5 years older than me. Unfortunately, he died at 75, and at the time we were fairly level, our guitar playing, you know. But he was 5 years older than me, and he wasn't working like I was, and I soon became, you know, much better than him, and I became professional, and he became a bookbinder or something like that, you know. But at the time, it was fantastic because we both discovered the blues together. In fact, a little bit more to that, he got a job in a bookbinding place, and the foreman, he had every blues record you could ever imagine, all the John Mayall, all the Lead Belly, John Lee, you know, all the early guys. And he introduced my brother to that, and he introduced me to that. And of course, playing the classical guitar, it was, how do I do this on the classical guitar? So I did. I learned to play blues on classical guitar, and then I swapped over to electric guitar, and then started joining bands. But also the same guy that gave him these records, he then started introducing to people like Oscar Peterson, Charlie Parker, Ray Brown, Dizzy Gillespie, you know, all those. And that came straight to me. So it was just I was very influenced by my
You,
upbringing.
yeah,
I,
you were absorbing.
and
You were taking all of that
also,
in. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
and
yes.
a very patient mother who
Was
liked it very much that the youngest son was, you know, outstepping the rest of the, because they all played. All my three brothers played, but
yeah.
they all faded. They all faded into their teens, whereas I just blossomed. And at 75, I'm still getting better, I think.
Well,
Well, I was until I broke my spine.
right, right. And when did that happen? When did you break your spine? When was that?
Oh man, and, for about three and a half years ago, and
Okay.
I've spent all that time, learning to walk again. Honestly, I had a split, fractures, all my vertebrae are smashed, and
Yeah.
I won't tell you, but I've experienced agony. But
Yes. Yes.
as you can see by my face, it's not really done me too much harm,
Yes.
except for my teeth starting to fall out.
We talked
I
about that one
mentioned, yeah,
before
well, as I mentioned to you on just
we
before we
started.
came on air, yeah,
Yes.
I had to take medication because of all this, and it's made my teeth start falling out. But
Wow.
luckily, I've got enough to eat and speak,
Yeah.
so I'll be all right.
We are. Yeah. Isn't that wild how, medication, it always has contra effects. It will
It does.
it will cure one thing, but then it has the side effects,
That's right, yeah.
and
But again, going to the dentist a few times is nothing compared to the agony that I would have been in.
right,
I
right.
couldn't walk. Honestly, it was a matter of the worst fight you've ever seen getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
20
Oh,
minutes to get out of bed and crawl to the kitchen to take some painkillers. Just I am
yeah.
laughing now. I've got
Yeah.
a damn good sense of humour.
Right. Well, you have to through all that. You have to, don't you?
After
Well, so you,
even being in hospital, I was in hospital for 10 days, and even that I remember as an enjoyable experience. Because the nurses and the doctors, they were so caring and loving, and it
yeah.
was so nice being looked after. While being in such a thing that I feel fabulous about hospitals and the good
Right.
old British NHS.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. The TLC you got in there. Yes, as they say. Well,
yeah.
well, yeah, that's good. Were your parents were pretty encouraging with you wanting to get into music? They were behind you.
Yeah, indeed. My father was pretty negative.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay, he
in
wasn't.
fact, he was the only one in the family that didn't really play. Even though he could play the harmonica a little bit, he'd learned in the war. I can just see him now in Burma in the back of a truck playing his harmonica, and
His
occasionally
harmonica.
he'd play. Yeah, but he didn't really. This was the 1950s, 60s in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Very, let's just say, lowly educated area where I lived. My father didn't really approve of my mother playing the piano
Oh, he didn't.
during those days, yeah,
Yeah.
before our time. But that was the case, and luckily she left my father when I was 11, and once we'd done that, our house was full of musicians, full of music, and it was a fabulous change. Yeah,
Yeah.
strange.
Well,
But like I
we
said, my mother was so encouraging, and when it was time for me to leave school, I had the options of getting a job that I didn't want, going to college, or going and being a musician. And she just said, "Do whatever you want, do
yeah.
whatever you feel." And luckily, I found employment. Within
Wow.
what, maybe a year, I was everywhere working.
Well,
Crazy.
that's nice that
Yeah,
she was so supportive of you like
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. Well,
And,
well, can you remember one of the first live pop or rock concerts that you attended?
attended.
Yeah, that you went to. Yes, attended. Yes.
Oh, not that I played. Oh my golly. I think I saw the Pink Floyd.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
but listen to this. On the way up the motorway from London to Yorkshire, one of their vans broke down, and I think it was their organ. They didn't have an organ, and guess who did? We did. We had a
Oh, you did.
farfisa, and they
You did.
borrowed. Yeah, they
Yeah.
borrowed our organ and used it for the night.
Is that right? Is that
That's
right?
right. That must have been 1968, 9, or really, really early days.
Right.
And something similar happened. Do you know Graham Bond, the Graham Bond
Oh,
organisation?
yes, organization. Yes, yes,
The
yes.
same thing happened with him. He was coming to London, and he had a massive, massive Hammond with Leslies and foot pedals,
Oh,
and something. I think the amplifier for his bass pedals, something didn't work. So the band that I was playing with on that night, you love the name. We were called Archimedes Screw.
is that right?
Yeah, and I wish it was now. I'd call it Archimedes Crew. I think
Oh,
that'd be
yeah.
great, wouldn't it?
Right.
Anyway, we had a very, very good bass player. So Graham Bond had our bass player playing at the university that night. And, we were only 16, 17. So
Yeah. And so,
a great,
wow. Well,
good intro to music
that's
gigs.
that's nice. Well, you were instrumental in both of their careers. Then, I mean,
All sorts of, yeah.
think
And at
think
the
about
same
it. Right?
time as well, I've got to tell you, I said we were so into the blues, and we'd organised a 24-hour non-stop blues session at the Students' Union, where you started 1, 2, 3, 4, and someone carried on playing a 12-bar for 24 hours, and everybody from everywhere, bands, they were piling in at 3 o'clock in the morning, playing for half an hour and going away again. And some of us were there for, God knows, the whole 24 hours, We
Wow.
learned a lot about playing 12-bar blues at that time.
Well, for 24 hours, it continued on. Wow.
Yeah,
that,
fantastic.
that's
I guess
something.
we were 16, 15, 16 years old at the time, young boys.
Wow. Is that in the Guinness Book of World Records?
No, it really should be, though.
I was going to say, I wonder to carry on for that long. Wow. Wow. Well,
Well,
so
one.
go ahead.
Now you've mentioned the Guinness Book of Records, one that might interest you.
Uh-huh.
In my teens, were you aware of the band Cupid's Inspiration, an English band?
Yes.
Yesterday Has Gone. Yes,
Yes.
do you know I played lead guitar with them
Did you?
when I was 18, I guess 18 years old. Yeah,
Yeah.
for quite a few months, and they'd had that massive hit. They'd been number 4 in the charts, and I think they were in the Guinness Book of Records for the longest time at number 4, 3 months, something like that. Anyway,
Oh,
but
is that right?
when I joined them, they were quickly on their way down.
Yeah.
And I went to an audition with them in a pub in Clapham in London, I believe, and I
Oh,
got the gig. And I was thrilled to pieces, but it wasn't fantastic. The gigs they were doing by then, they were not that good.
oh, is that right?
But if you look now on the net, they're still playing.
You're still playing.
None of them. I think the drummer is the original, but everybody else are just guys they picked up along the way.
Right, right. Yeah, Yesterday Has Gone.
Yeah, I remember that.
It
I
was a
love that song.
big
Da,
hit.
da, 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 oh baby,
Right,
yesterday.
right, right. Right. Gordon
Yeah,
Haskell was it. Gordon Haskell was in the band too. Yeah, Gordon and
God.
Ber-
Terry Rice Milton was the singer,
yes, Terry Rice Milton. Yes, uh,
and what's his name?
Bernie. See, Bernie Lee.
Bernie. Yeah,
Bernie
yeah, he
Lee.
was the bass player.
Yeah, yeah.
Bernie. Oh no, Bernie. He was the guy I replaced. A guy with lots of hair.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And if you are ever interested, if you type in Cupid's Inspiration,
Yeah,
Yesterday Has Gone. There's something like Top of the Pops, but in Germany, and
right.
there they are miming with the full orchestra. It's really good. But like I say, when I was with them, we were a 4-piece on the way down.
Okay. Well, that's something I might have reached out to one of the guys there. I might have reached out to them. They have a website too. Yeah, they do have a website.
Yeah,
So that would be nice to talk to one of those guys that's still around. Wow. Okay.
yeah. The drummer, what did they call the drummer? He's the guy that's still there, and he
Oh,
was my
there.
favorite person.
Oh, you know what? Here it is.
What
Roger Gray.
Roger? That's the
Yes,
guy. Yeah, I
I
remember.
found it.
I've seen his picture recently, and think I haven't seen him for like 50 odd years,
Yeah.
and there he is again. Good
Oh,
man.
well, I'll try to reach out to him. Yeah, that's well. Well, what's
Well, if
uh
you do, send him my kind regards with you.
I sure will. I sure will. Well, what were some other early influences for you, musical influences in bands?
Well, like I said, John Mayall. I went to see John Mayall. I,
Oh,
I think it was. I think Peter Green was playing guitar.
I was going to say Peter Green.
It
Oh
was
man,
staggering.
I
Again,
love his
we
guitar.
hitchhiked.
Yeah,
Me and a friend of mine hitchhiked from Yorkshire to Leicester, and it
yeah,
was in a like an underground,
yes,
like an underground car park, really, but
yes.
phenomenal. And one of the funny things, when everybody was leaving at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're in Leicester, and
Yeah,
where on earth do you go? Everybody was walking towards the motorway to hitchhike home, and
yeah,
me and my friend, we thought this is no good, and we passed a garden centre, and it was
yeah.
open, and we went in, and there were sheds with settees and things, and we slept in the garden centre. And
Oh,
when we
did you?
woke up just before we left, and everybody gone, and the motorway was open, and we reached home in an hour or so.
Did
The
you?
teens.
Well, yeah, Peter Green, like you said, genius. His
Oh,
guitar
genius.
playing,
Yeah,
and then with Fleetwood Mac, that early Fleetwood Mac. Oh, that's
yeah,
some of my favorite music. I mean,
yeah.
he could span the spectrum. I mean, he could have those hard blues, like Oh
Yeah.
Well, but then also
Yeah.
really soft melodic, like Man of the World, one of my favorites,
In
and Albatross. The two.
Albert. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just
And
he had that softer side, that melodic
do you know
side.
do you know what we used to call Albatross, by the way?
What'd you call it?
Albert Ross.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You asked me about early bands.
yeah.
You love this one. I saw the Mothers of Invention at the
Oh,
Albert Hall in 1968 or 69.
did you?
They all show Jimmy
Wow,
Carl Black,
Jimmy Carl, yes, yes,
all of them. And
right.
it was phenomenal. And, one of the fabulous events, was Jimmy Carl Black the drummer? I think
Jimmy
he
Carl.
was.
What? I think he was from Texas. He was from Texas.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he was.
Well, as I remember, this was so impressive. Uh, he got like a green stripy t-shirt and green like socks on, and it was
Yes,
just great. And he got off the drums and he walked over. This
yeah.
is the Albert Hall, and he started playing Mozart or Chopin or something on the grand piano.
Did he?
Absolute perfection. And then
Yeah.
there was an old section of the audience that seemed to be in the tuxedos. And
Oh,
I think maybe there were an orchestra that had been playing there earlier. And Jimmy Carl Platt, he walked, and instead of going up the stairs, he climbed over them all the way up to the organ, the
oh.
massive organ in Albert Hall. And he opened it up. It must have been planned because it was switched on. And he turned around and he went, "Dur, dur, ba-dum, dum, dum, dum," on the Albert Hall organ after playing Mozart. Honestly,
Oh,
that was a
wow.
night to remember. Yeah, I guess I was 18 at the time. And,
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was the drummer, originally the drummer. Yeah, yes.
yeah,
Jimmy,
fantastic.
Jimmy,
Yeah,
Jimmy Carl. Wow. Well, we'll talk about the origins of Skywhale.
yeah. And just a little bit before, I played.
Oh,
Do you
sure.
remember Jimmy James and the Vagabonds? Jimmy
Yes,
James.
yes, I do. Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Well,
Yes, I
I played lead guitar with Jimmy James a few times when I was very young.
did. You
And
did you?
yes, I did indeed. I played in Nottingham a few times with him. Uh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there are plenty more little ones like that. But sorry, what was the next question you asked me?
Oh, I was. What led up to Skywhale? How did the
Oh,
band?
Scarr. Oh, yeah. Oh, blimey. Well,
Okay.
I'd been to Bristol just once from London when I was gigging a lot. I spent all my time in a transit on the motorway. And once or twice we came to Bristol, and I was very impressed with what a pretty place it was. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's the city on the edge of the countryside. I
Oh,
will send you a couple of pictures. I'll send you where I live now. I live in the grounds of Clifton College, which is a
oh,
beautiful public school with towers and spires. And right
oh,
in front of me, I can see every tower and spire in Bristol. It's fabulous. I'll send you some
oh,
pictures for yourself.
oh, that would be great. That would be great.
Anyway, a friend of mine in Yorkshire, again, we decided to reach out to St Ives in Cornwall, and we were on the M4, I guess it is, by Bristol. And sometimes it starts raining and it never stops.
Yeah,
One of those.
right.
And it rained and it rained, and eventually my friend said, "We can't do any more." And he said, I think I know a couple of girls that live in a place called Montpellier in Bristol, and I've got no idea how, but we found them.
Yeah.
We actually found them.
them.
And, we stayed for a couple of nights. And a few nights later, I was walking up one of the main roads in Bristol, and I met someone from my hometown. When I told him what was going on, he said, he said, we've just we've just moved in house and we've got 4 or 5 rooms. Do you want to come and live with us? So all of a sudden I was living in Bristol, and there was lots of roundabouts, after that. But first of all, I was playing with a pianist friend who I'd been playing with for years, hoping to get my new band together, but it just didn't work out. And then I met Dougall, who he was very, very keen. Andy worked in a recording studio and do quite a lot of the biz, And then we found Pete and John and John Biddell. He was the first pianist. Roy Dodds. If you look for Roy Dodds, by the way, he's very well known. He played on Perfects by It's Got to Be Perfect. Eddie Reader. What does he call them? Fairground Attraction.
Oh, Fairgrounded, yes.
He was their drummer. Fabulous drummer. And he's a well-known jazz drummer and a lovely guy. I've not seen him for decades, but a lovely man. And Pete, the violinist, was gone away now. And John, the pianist, who unfortunately died. And that was the first Skywhale. Dougall, John, and that's it. And we started rehearsing in John's basement in Clifton, which is an old wine cellar. There's lots of Georgian property. I guess this place was built about 1780 or something. So under his house there were what they call them, archers with wine cellars, and one of them was a rehearsal room. And out of the window you could see the Avon Gorge, which I haven't told you about. It runs through Bristol. We have a suspension bridge that runs over it, and you could see that out of our rehearsal room window. So what a great place to start.
Right.
And, and we played, we rehearsed for months, and then we started playing. If on the PQR, there's one little poster up in the corner that says our first gig. And it was the Dockland settlement in Bristol and Bower Ashton Art College, on consecutive nights. And that was our first exposure.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I guess that was 75 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, going back to, before you continue, I just saw Jimmy James just passed away last year. Jimmy James.
Oh, did he really? Yeah.
Yeah, pull that up.
Just on that one, do you know of Root and Jenny Jackson? Well, I'll just say the last time I saw him, he was on the front of a glossy magazine. He's a black guy, Jamaican guy. He was on the front of a glossy magazine wearing a gold suit and looking really cool. Anyway, I played with them in London for quite some time. So, and
oh, here he is. Yeah, here he is. Yes. Okay. Cousin of Jenny Jackson. Jenny Jackson. Yes, he is from he was from the West Indies too. Yeah. Okay.
And Jenny Jackson. It was Root and Jenny Jackson was the band. And, I joined them in London for a while.
Well, you played with quite a few bands.
Honestly, I've played with so many. I haven't even told you about Japan and Switzerland and stuff yet, have I?
No. Well, go ahead and continue. I didn't mean to. I just saw that. I didn't mean to interject.
It's difficult for me as well, trying to sort it, because it's coming in from over there somewhere.
Right.
It's coming from the kitchen. So Skywhale, we played, just the favourite gigs around Bristol and Stonehenge Festival and some other festivals and Glastonbury. And there was a festival in Bristol called the Ashton Court Festival, which was it was a little Glastonbury. It was beautiful, and it still happens occasionally, but not like it did in the 1970s. It's fabulous. And then we made the album. We had record company problems, like people do. We fell out a little bit. Resolved it eventually. Paul, you said he played sax, Paul Todd. Yeah. He also played penny whistle.
Penny
whistle Cumbria. He was from Cumbria, near Scotland, and he could. There's some on the Skywhale album, one of the very fast tunes that you hear that you think is a couple of flutes. One of them, if you listen carefully, it's a penny whistle, as is the solo in the middle.
Did you? Let me ask you this: when you were in school, like grade school, I guess, did you have to learn, or did you have classes learning the recorder to play the recorder?
I did learn as a child, yeah. I still can play the recorder a little bit, but not too much.
Right. I've heard that story. Doing these.
I'll tell you something completely off that I saw recently, which will make you laugh. You know, if you're advertising, say you're selling a refrigerator, and you put a note and you slice it and put your phone number so they can just peel off the phone number. Yeah.
Yes.
I saw this thing and it said recorder lessons, and at the bottom, all the bits of paper just said no thanks, and they were all torn off except one. Now, that was amusing. I've seen a similar joke about banjo lessons, which I can't agree with at all. I love the banjo. Anyway.
How did the band come to record at Mushroom Studios, Clifton?
Yeah, well, I'd been in London with, I can't remember who it was, various people, but I'd been in London with Skywhale, and we'd been taken to Island Records. We'd been trying to get a deal. Like a slightly dodgy management people had taken us on, and we've been rehearsing in a place in South London, and recording companies had been coming along and seeing us, and they'd been making offers basically, how much they were going to pay for us. And I don't know how it happened, but I finished up at Island Records, and we made one record, and you'll never guess who produced us. Stormy Umashita.
Oh, really?
Stormy Umashita, the mega Japanese guy. I didn't even know he was at the time, but he produced my first version.
He produced it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was just one track, and Island Records offered me a deal, and they said, we want you. And by this time I had I can't remember, 6-7-piece band, and they were like my family. And I really felt what I was doing was so integral with what I just spent all this time doing that against everybody's advice, I said, no, I don't want to deal on my own. You take my band or you don't take me. So they said, well, sorry, they didn't. They said, no, they didn't take my band. Yeah. And I said, no. And I came back to Bristol, and then shortly afterwards, Dennis, who owned Mushroom Studios, we came to an agreement. Mick, our drummer, was also doing some engineering with him, I do believe. Yeah. And we were going to use lots of his spare time, which he had, and pay for our electricity and pay for the bills and stuff like that. There's that sort of deal. And then we were going to go, I do believe it was 50-50 on proceeds of what happened to us next. It was all fair enough, but it didn't quite work out. And I finished up pulling away, falling out with Dennis, but I did make up with him afterwards, luckily, because he's quite long dead now. Right. Anyway, so it didn't fade. I carried on putting Skywhales together, but it was impossible to do what I was trying to do. And Stan, if you've listened to the flute playing on the album, I mean, he is a world-class player. Not just that, sax, he's a bass player. He can play Beethoven on the piano like a madman. Yeah. Anyway, he just couldn't afford to stay anymore, so he moved to London. And he became Stan Riviera.
Oh, okay.
And he started playing with lots of Brazilians, and he got the first proper, real big, what would you call it, salsa sort of. He'll kill me for saying that. It wasn't that Morango or something. So one of those names, but the first one, and he had Roberta Pla. Is that a name that?
No,
that's a famous name. I can't remember. Yeah, he was a famous person. He was in it anyway. That's what happened to him. And like I said, Paul died in a car accident. And then I moved on.
Yeah, we'll go back to.
I just started playing, jazz gigs and playing with whatever bands were offering me.
Before we leave Skywhale, you mentioned Mick Avery playing drums, and he also engineered the album. And then who did the artwork on the cover?
That was
Carl. Is that related to John? Is that
No,
no?
it was when I was young. It was a fairly common name up in the part of Yorkshire where I live, Schofield,
Okay,
and
okay.
it's common everywhere now. But they weren't related. But
They weren't
we
related.
all did. Yeah, we all did meet in Yorkshire. But funnily enough, I'd never met John Schofield in Yorkshire. I met him in Streatham in London.
Oh, did
He
you?
came to visit. Yeah, he came to visit a friend of mine, and
Yeah.
again, John died not a few years ago. It's funny, isn't it, getting into your 70s? No, I'll just remember that the first time I met him, he came to my house, and he had like a greatcoat, sort of thing that you could buy from the Army and Navy stores for a fiver, but
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking
keep you warm. He got one of those on. He got big
about.
pockets, and
Yeah.
in this pocket, he got a big heap of felt tips and pens and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
can you imagine that? And in his other pocket, he got a couple of recorders, and just things you could play. That was the very first time I met John, and I think it was the only time. And then I didn't see him again for maybe 3 years, something like that. And I came to Bristol, and he was here.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And he was part of a fabulous thing called the Crystal Theatre.
Oh,
They were a theatre group, very, very underground. I
yeah.
just have to call it psychedelic, really. It was fantastic. And a guy called Paul Davis, who's now a very, very well writer, known in TV, and it was Paul Davis and John Schofield who were in charge of that. And we seemed to integrate. We were always living in the same houses, and eventually we started playing gigs with them. We
Oh,
played one at the ICA in London, which is just fabulous. They did a show called Pirates,
oh.
where they built on a pirate ship on the sea. It was fabulous.
Well, the album itself, because of the violin, I hear a little Jean-Luc Ponty in that.
Oh, yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
That was me. Yeah.
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 And
You know,
also
that was so, yeah.
Camel. I hear some Camel and
Yeah.
Canterbury Jazz, a
Yeah.
fusion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was plenty. I was such an Atfield fan.
Yeah.
But
Right. Right.
the violin, I started playing the violin. I'd hardly practiced at all
Yeah.
by that time. I just used to play now and then. But um, I guess in my 20s, 30s, I started realizing that I could actually play the violin. I was always really scared of going anywhere, just a few
Right.
inches up the neck. You know how teeny the notes become. If there were frets there, you wouldn't be able to see them. And it's still
Yeah.
amazing. When you
Yes.
see people playing, right up there, there's no note, there's no distance between the notes, and they're going, and it's in tune. You think, hang on a minute. Anyway,
Exactly. Exactly.
I've been practicing violin ever since, and unfortunately, it's one of the things that I can't do now. Doing this with my back damage and stuff. Maybe another year or two, I'll be okay.
Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
the most of the album to me has like a nice feel good kind of vibe.
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
happy, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. And I think the title track may be my favorite. I like the flute in it. It's
Which
light.
one?
The title track. The title track.
Oh, World of Mind End. Which one's that?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes. And then it's light and airy, kind of light and airy. And
yeah.
then, but Epicure is nice too. I like Epicure.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I love the beginning.
Yes, yes,
Everybody who listens to it.
yeah.
Do you know it was used briefly on do you remember the Ford Siesta? Do you remember
Oh,
that
okay.
car?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
there
remember
was some
that.
adverts on the TV. There was somebody in the West Country in Bristol, and all of a sudden I came in one night and Epicure was playing
It was
on the
playing.
TV,
It was playing on
advertising
there.
the Ford Siesta. And I got in touch with the company, and they'd bought it. The advert, they bought it as a package for about 200 quid or something. There's
Did
no
they?
royalties or anything.
Oh, I was going
If
to
it had
ask you
been
about
done,
that. No royalties.
yeah,
No royalties. No.
because I checked at the time. If it had been real, it was about £80 a minute. For having your
Right,
music on an advert at the time.
right.
And I thought, oh, great!
You would
So
be,
I made a phone call.
you would be rich.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
exactly, exactly. Wow. Well, yeah, I heard that, if you want to be rich, wealthy in the music industry, come up with one huge hit and then
Exactly.
and just let the royalties just roll in, you know.
Oh yeah, there are so many things like that. There's a crazy Christmas song that they play at Christmas called something about the cavalry. Did you know that song? Da, 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 da. I wish I was at home for Christmas. Do you know that song? It's
Oh,
played
now
everywhere.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That
Do
sounds
you know the guy who wrote that? He only wrote one song, and that
one
was it.
song,
And
and that
and he's not only himself, but his three children have all got massive houses from it. From
from
one
that one song.
dreadful Christmas song.
Yes, that's the key right there. That's the key, you know. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been writing. I've been trying to write a dreadful Christmas song ever since. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Sorry, you had your one. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Well, you did mention, sadly, Paul Todd died in a car accident not long after the album was completed. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, talk about a few of the memorable live shows and venues that the band played.
You are talking 50 years ago now.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right.
I think my very, very favourite was playing at Ashton Court outside on a sunny day. A festival, what it's like when there's a big green going upwards in front of you.
Yes.
And it's full of people, and they're all going, "Oh!"
Yeah, right. They're all getting
yeah. And I remember looking down in the front and seeing people, people from London who I hadn't seen for years dancing, and people, it's like at festivals. And
right.
I think that stands out. Yeah.
Did you like that, the outdoor festival, playing outdoor festival?
Yeah, one of my favourites.
Yeah.
I played at Glastonbury about 5, 6. I will make you laugh. Did I? No, I didn't. After Root and Jenny Jackson, I joined a band called Company Roadshow, which you won't find anything because I've looked.
You've already.
They were, basically it was run by a guy who was pretty wealthy, so he got himself an house in the studio in it, and it was very clever. You know what I mean? It was like a sort of family unit. I don't know. It wasn't very close. And we rehearsed for a few months. We made one record, which wasn't very good, but we played at the first Glastonbury.
Oh, the very first
1970, the very first one. And not only that, we took a lorry. Like I said, these guys, they were fairly well heeled. We had a big Bedford truck and a big transit full of kit. I think the Bedford truck just had the PA speakers in it. It was like that. And we took a stage. So we built our own stage. Oh yeah, we met Michael Eavis, and he took us around, and he found us this beautiful field full of buttercups that rolled down to a stream, and we put our stage at the bottom. It was an absolutely gorgeous setting.
Oh yes, I just talked not long ago to Frank Allen, who was in the Searchers.
Yeah.
And and they played Glastonbury this year. They got to play. Yeah. And he said that may be their last time because they're all getting up there in age, too. So but he said
a real nice one to really make you laugh. Guess who got on stage with us one night? Dr. John.
Oh,
Dr.
did
John.
he? Oh,
I was in the tent with a couple of the guys from the band, and there was this other guy with very long hair, American guy, really full of shit, And I didn't even know he was, And we were talking. He said, "Oh, you got to come and play with us." Oh, sure, man. Yeah. And we get up and we played some 12 bars and stuff, and it was a bit of a gas. And then it was probably the day after, 2 days after. He said, "Do you know who that was?" I said, "Yes, it's John, Doctor." He said, he's like Bruce Springsteen's friend. He plays with, he's on every record you've ever heard, sort of thing.
Right.
It's fabulous. I didn't even know he was.
Yeah. The Night Tripper. Yeah.
Exactly, Dr. John the Night Tripper. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, did you ever have any run-ins, or did you ever see Captain Beefheart?
No.
Okay. All right. When you said Frank,
just one.
go ahead.
I think I think I was playing with Root and Jenny Jackson. We played at university work, and we played alongside Mark Bolan, T-Rex.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah.
There's-
Oh, come on. Do you know, I keep coming up with these laughs. You'll never guess what happened to me. You know, we have foot pedals on the floor. In those days, you know, we didn't have massive pedal boards. We just have, you know, the distorter, the reverb, and this. Somehow, one of my pedals had got about 2 feet behind me. And Mark Bolan was standing over there watching us. And I was ripping away on my little, I think, kind of Fender Mustang. Imagine an 18-year-old kid in Laura. And doing this, and I walked backwards, and I stood on one of my pedals, and I fell over backwards.
Oh, no,
and I went, bang! And there was Hammond organ. And, you know, the back of the organ, I hit it like this, and I slid down. And I carried on playing.
You played? Have you been accident prone your whole life?
No, not at all. That's the only 2 accidents I had.
Okay.
Anyway, as I stood up, I looked over like this, and Mark Bolan was standing there, and he was going like this. He was looking at me. He just cracked out laughing, and he walked away.
Yeah.
I saw him later in his dressing room. He said, you couldn't have rehearsed that, man. He said, you know, that was good.
Wow. Yeah, you should have said, yeah, I had it all planned out. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it just for you, man. Yeah.
Right. Well,
it's fabulous. These things are coming back. I'd forgotten all about these things until you're asking me.
Well, good. It's good to jar the memory, right? You know, it's good to kind of rekindle that. I get that comment from a lot of guys that I talk to. They say, you know, it was nice to revisit those memories. You know, to go back there. Yeah. Well, you began working with Peter Hammill and would help compose 3 of his albums. Yeah.
Well, no. Again, it's all the wrong way around. That was before all this. I guess I was only 18 or so.
Oh, that was earlier.
You mentioned, and I'd gone to London with Stan, and Wayne was he was the first one of us to die. He was only 22 or something, and had a brain hemorrhage. But through Stan, I met Christian Smith, which you've mentioned.
Yes.
And I started writing with him, and he was so good to me. He used to send me money to Huddersfield for my train fare to go, and I used to stay with him in Hyde Park and somewhere else. I can't remember. It's so long ago. And we wrote a lot of stuff. But Time for a Change was the one that became famous.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
I haven't seen him for decades, but a fantastic guy, fantastic writer, marvelous bloke. But have you been in contact with him? I think you said you were going to contact him at some point.
I believe I did, but I just talked to. I mean, this is what, a week or 2 ago with Judge Smith. Judge Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got.
If you speak to him again, just say hi there. From me.
Right. I will send him another. I'll send him another. Yeah, it was a nice interview. You know, I didn't realize.
Really? Is it on your site?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
yes, you can watch. You can watch that. I can send you the links so you don't have to scroll. But it's not very far down. It's maybe, I don't know how many. But it wasn't too long ago.
I'll find it.
And then John Ellis.
No.
Okay, you don't. He played with Peter Hammill, and then also again with Judge with Graaf Generator.
That's right.
Yeah, but I just so I'll send you that link to that. We'll talk a little bit about Pete Brandt's method.
Oh, again, these Pete. I still know Pete. Oh man, you're going back so far. It was just when I first came to Bristol, I was meeting all the local musicians, and I was just playing on everybody's albums and singles really. So I never played with his band or anything. I've just been in the studio with him a few times.
Oh, okay.
But again, if you've come across him or interviewed him, he's a wonderful man.
Okay.
And a fantastic writer. Fantastic writer.
Speaking of Judge, you played on the Democracy album.
I did.
Yes.
In fact, that's one thing. If you listen to the original, the intro, which I played, the last Three, four, five, six. The last 8 notes are a really important thing. You know, I came up the neck and I went something like that. And Pete Hammill, I don't know whether he didn't. He didn't play that. He put something else there, which unfortunately I don't like too much. Because every time I hear it, I'm thinking, you know, why didn't he play it all the way through? But it doesn't matter because it's nice.
Right.
And I hear it on the radio and stuff like that now and then.
Isn't that wild to hear a song on the radio? That must be really, really weird, strange.
Yeah, one of the funniest things was I was in an off license about 5 years ago, and I didn't know what was happening. I just started feeling strange. You know, what is it that's feeling so odd? And then I looked up, and Yesterday Has Gone was playing on a 70s channel. And I just went,
yeah.
Oh! Then, you know, I knew the guy behind the counter. I said, "Do you hear that?"
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Right.
Are you aware of? Yeah. Are you aware of Way Out West?
Way Out West.
Dance.
What is that? What is that?
They're a very, very well known dance. You know, came from being DJs. They made a record called The Gift, which made them very, very famous.
Way Out West? No, I don't believe so. Let me see. Way Out West band. Way Out West electronic duo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, they made this record called The Gift, and in the middle, you know, it's fabulous, really simple thing, but beautifully done. I played on it, by the way. I don't know what I played on it.
Okay.
It's one of those things. It just when the break comes, a girl's voice goes, "The moon and the stars bring a gift someday," and it was taken from someone very famous, and it cost them it cost them millions or whatever. Spoiled the whole thing. I think they would have become very, very famous if I don't know why they did it. They could have used anything. But since then, they've become, I think they called that Aranda Jeep or something like that now. But they're if you like dance music, they're absolutely
way out west. No, I must have missed that one. Yeah, Jody Wisternoff and Nick Warren. Yeah,
that's right. And also, I played on Just Like a Man and two. I'm on 2 of their albums as well.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I didn't have notes. I didn't have notes for that. No, I didn't.
No, well, the thing is, there's so many things like this which I leave out because there's so many of them, and they're just things that passed. But I've known him. Jody lives just up the road. You know, like I first started working with him when he was about 15 or something. His dad used to get me to go down their studio and play Rhodes parts on their dance tracks and stuff like that. And they taught me how to scratch.
Oh, okay. Did they? That's funny.
Anyway, so like you asked about Pete Brandt and what's next is the Friday Records and Shoes for Industry and things like that. That's all there, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
The Shoes for Industry. They were a band. They were a throw of the Crystal Theatre of the Saint. You know, and you can imagine their humour. That was their go, a name for a punk band. Shoes for Industry.
Yeah, right.
And their records are called things like dog training in the Babylon, things like I don't know. Sheepdog trials in the Babylon.
Oh, right.
You know, all their titles were like, what?
I know. It's like where did those come from? Right, exactly. Yeah. Well. Also, who was Tony Rafter?
Tony Rafter. He's a fairly well-known guy. He's a sax player. Okay. I've never actually played with him. But it was a lovely thing. I happened to go into a studio, and I was going to the studio to play the owner some of my film scores. And while I was sitting reading magazines waiting for the guy, Tony Rafter happened to be there, and he walked by and he went, "Hey, Steve."
Yeah.
He said, "Have you seen the Steinway in the live room?" I said, "No." He said, "Oh, go and have a look." So I went and had a look, started playing. next thing you know, they're coming in and putting microphones around it.
Were they? Were they?
And he said, "Do us a favour and play on our album, would you?" And that's where that track comes from. There, it just started with me improvising the piano to a beat, and the next thing I heard, it had got drums, bass, and Tony Rafter playing on it. So basically, it was my idea that it's his track. So
Yeah.
good.
I like that. I like that. The improv, like you said, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was good. And just,
with
unfortunately as well, I did something else on there. It was probably one of the best pieces of piano playing I've ever done. It was a beautiful Steinway, and I finished up work. It finished up on an album that didn't succeed, and we were working with a big producer in London. Well, he was the Spice Girls producer, for instance. He was a big guy, and he wanted this piece that they'd used it for in C sharp, and I'd improvised it in A minor, right? And when asked if I could do it, I said, yeah, sure. And I sat down and started writing it down. And after 10, 15 minutes, I said, "I'll tell you what, this is going to take all afternoon." He said, "Oh, forget it." And they just dumped it.
Really?
Yeah, they just dumped it. And I've never heard it since. And it's heartbreaking to know that you've done something so fantastic.
Right,
And someone could think,
And
this song should be in a different key. He can probably play this in any key.
yeah,
It was ridiculous, stupid thing for them to ask me to do. And
right.
me being a young lad and being enthusiastic, went, yeah, okay.
Right.
You learn, don't you? You learn.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, that would be nice. Maybe you can recreate that and record
Well,
it.
that's the thing. I've surpassed it by far. Just one tremendous piece of news. I haven't mentioned. I've been working for 8 years on I call it my life's work, my solo albums, and it's all finished. It's all finished.
Okay.
What was I going to say? And the lucky thing is, I'd done all the nylon string guitar playing just before I broke my back, and
Oh, did you?
it's the best playing I've ever done, and
Yeah.
I would never be able to surpass it anyway. And
Yeah.
there's no point, I can't. So that is so lucky.
Right. The timing on that was good that you did finish that. Yes.
And there must be 6, 7, 8 tracks of me playing the best I've ever played.
Yeah.
You noticed how many classical guitars I've got, when I turned round.
Yeah.
I think I've got 13. I've got
Right.
13 classical guitars.
Right. Yeah. So
If
you're
anybody doesn't know, Japanese guitars, Japanese classical guitars made in the 70s, so many of them are absolutely beautiful. I buy them.
Yes.
Sometimes I buy them 50, 60 pounds. And the best one I've got is a 1983 one, a Takamine, which I bought in Tokyo in 1983, and it's probably worth £1,500, something like that. And I'm buying these guitars for £50 that are almost identical, and I'm getting the picture they were made in the same factory.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were sent to England as cheap guitars,
So
I'm buying them. Don't tell anyone, by the way. This is top secret.
Right, only those that are watching this. Yeah. Well, that's that. Yeah, because the craftsmanship that the Japanese, that they put into everything is so. Like
Absolutely fabulous. Yeah.
Right. I can imagine that they would be top notch. Wow. Well, another artist, real quickly, that I don't recognize, Owen Franklin.
Oh, he was. Oh, I've tried to stop gigging so much. I started teaching in public school, basically, in a very, very expensive schools in beautiful music departments, and it's right there. I wish I could get the phone and show it out the window, but I'll send you some pictures. And he was one of the students there.
Yeah.
And he made an album, which he was incredibly talented. And just one day I was sitting in my room, and they came and knocked on my door and said, "Would you come put a solo on this track for me, please?" And I remember the details. I'm an SG player, and all there was an SG, but there's one of these that probably cost £300-400, a modern one, and it just didn't feel right. But I'm very confident, so I said, "Well, just give me a reasonable overdrive, and it'll be all right." And I remember that what made them all laugh, them being youngsters and me being professional, they said, "Oh, would you like me to write the chord sequence down, please?" And I went, "No, it's all right." I could hear it, obviously. And he said, "Just think Pink Floyd and play." And I did, and I played a very nice solo. And you'll never guess what, one of these things, it finished up later on. in the hands of a guy who was producing Coldplay. So he was a well-known guy. And guess what? He found the guitar playing too much.
Too
He
much.
said it's too, yeah. And it went on, and then it came in the outro. You play some beautiful licks, and he took them all off.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed, but I haven't listened since to see whether Owen has put them back on or anything. But disappointing when things like that happen.
Oh, for sure. I would be too. I would be as well. Yeah. Well, Owen, a writer, filmmaker, and composer, right? Yeah.
He's doing well. I know he's doing well. But,
Yeah.
a lot of the guys from there are doing well. I taught some fabulously clever people, from all over the world as well.
Right.
Tell you what, finishing up teaching in public school when you went to the sort of school I went to is it's beyond belief. I don't even know if it was a school where I went. They said it.
Yeah, the people that you'll meet there, right? And some of them go on to do great things, like you said. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you said.
many of them are. And also, I became such good friends with the teenagers. Me being sort of, such an enthusiastic teenager that I still know them now. I haven't seen many of them for 15 years, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of them phoned me tonight and said, "Do you want to go for a beer?" Or
Is
can I
that
come
right?
down? It's beautiful. Really. I mean, so many good friends.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like you said, the teaching and all that too. It's got to be rewarding.
It's
Gotta be,
fantastic.
yeah.
It really is good. Yeah,
It-
a lovely part-time thing to do when you're not doing what you want to do.
right.
Not quite my vocation, but very close.
Very close to that. But you're giving back, right? It's what you've learned, and you're just kind of,
Indeed, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And to see the enthusiasm,
Yes,
I,
that's the
I
other
can
thing.
remember one guy now he must be 25. And, he's doing physics and nuclear brain, so he's really clever. And I remember the first time I met him, when your students come at the beginning of the year, you meet in the chapel, and you can imagine the chapel at the college. It's nearly as beautiful as the cathedral. It's incredible, and you sit there with your name there, and you can see all these rows of boys all looking like. I could see this precocious looking little guy with blonde little curly hair. And, I could see him laughing. Eventually, I saw him walking up towards me, and he was, "Are you Mr. Robshaw?" And I said, "What do you want to do?" And he went, "Electric guitar, please, sir." And the enthusiasm,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
And and he carried on from being 12. He was my very last student when I left there. When he left, when he was 18, so something like that. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, I guess so. I guess I taught him for 6 years every week.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to see, right, and
It's
how
not
you
like the
kind
School of Rock.
right. Oh, yes, not like that. Not Jack Black. No,
No,
no.
not quite, not quite. But it would have been if I was as mad as him. It would be.
Right. Right. Yeah, to see how you can shape and mold, help shape and mold their lives, like that.
Indeed. Yeah.
It's got to be very, very satisfying, very, to get that back that way. Wow. Okay. Well,
And to see the ones you probably maybe know him. There's a blues guitarist in London called Julian Burdock, who's a very popular guitar player, and he's
okay.
played. But I taught him. I remember when he came. He came as a young guitarist. He was just touching on Hendrix, and when I
Yeah.
showed him how to play Hendrix, he went, "Whoa!" And then one day, the beautiful
Yeah.
thing is, he came
Yeah.
around one day, and I
Yeah.
was playing a guitar, a Bach prelude, and he stopped at his tracks and he said, "What are you doing? What's that?" And I told him. He said, "That's what I want to do."
Yeah.
So from then on, and within weeks, his mum bought him a nice classical guitar, and
Yeah.
well, he was playing everything. He was playing all the preludes and the gavottes and all the Spanish stuff.
Yeah.
And now he's a well-known blues guitarist. But there's quite a few like that,
Right. Right.
50 years ago.
You
When I
you had
think
a
about it, these
you
guys
had a
must be in
part.
their late 40s.
I was going to say you had a part. You had a part in that.
And
Exactly.
apart, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's got again. I can't imagine. I've never taught anything, but that's got to feel really good. Just to see them
It's nice.
to go on to bigger and better things. like that as well. Yeah, and to hear
Oh,
back
and,
from and to hear
yeah,
back from them
and
years later. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
another nice thing as well. More than once I've been sitting in my room and the musical director's come in and said that someone's come and they've asked if they can be taught by Mr. Robshaw if possible. That's really
Oh,
nice. It's like there were 4 or 5 guitar teachers, and you know what
yes, yes.
I mean? Could we?
And they,
Yeah,
and they picked you. See, and they picked yes,
yeah,
yes. Right. So kudos to you,
yeah.
Steve. There, yeah.
And I got a nice early retirement. Back to being a musician again.
Yeah, right.
except no sleeping in transits.
No more, no more. Right, right. Well, so those recordings that you said you finished those before you had the accident. Have you tried to release those, or are you going to release those?
I'm going to release all of it. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I've got I guess eight tracks, and I could easily make some of them are solo. The Skywhale album was 7 minutes, and that was then.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very difficult to keep them that short.
Yes.
But
Right.
they're mostly 4, 5, 6 minutes long, and
Okay.
I think I must have 20 tracks that I
Yeah.
could finish very quickly. So
Yes.
I'm just starting doing it. I've had a slight sad thing since I last spoke to you. Actually, I had a young guy from Clifton College who I'd asked in September if he'd come and do some engineering for me. I'm going to have to throw it in, but do you know my previous engineer? I've had Peter Gabriel's engineer.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Well,
Wow.
he was Peter Gabriel's top engineer for many years, and
Yeah.
he's a good friend of mine. We worked together, and he's been here in this room many times, and he's built my Macintosh and taught me Logic. And he's married with a child out in the country now, so he's not available. So
Okay.
in September, I asked one of the guys who I really liked at Clifton College, and he was supposed to start. And a couple of days ago, I tried to get in touch with him, and he'd had an accident and died.
Oh, is that right? Wow, how
Yeah,
sad. Sad. Wow.
He'd just done all the last time I spoke to him, he was just doing Glastonbury and Boomtown, all the big festivals. And
Right.
then, just 2 nights ago, I phoned up, couldn't find him, phoned a friend. And it's so bad when you speak to someone, you mention the name, and they go, "Oh, you
Yeah.
haven't heard, have you?" And
Oh, I
when
know.
someone says that, I
Oh,
went,
I hate that.
"No,
I hate that.
no."
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm not a bad engineer, but it's not enjoyable. It's really nice having your guitar around your neck and having someone doing it rather than
There you go.
having to stop and.
Right.
But I'm
Right.
going to have to go back to that for maybe 2 months, and I'll be finished.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, do keep me posted. Keep me up to
Oh,
date.
I certainly will. Yeah,
Because I'd
I
like
think if you
to.
like Skywhale, you'll like it if you like Skywhale.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a grown-up version.
The grown-up version. Well, yeah, I think a lot of the fans too will appreciate that and be anxious to hear that as well.
God, I hadn't even thought about that. I bet they will.
Yeah, yeah,
Excited.
I'm sure, and you'll find out doing this. I'll send you a copy probably next week. In a week, you'll have your
Yeah.
own copy, and it'll be on my channel too. So
Oh, good.
hopefully we'll get
Yeah.
some, make some grounding and get some responses. I like to hear,
Lovely.
read the responses, and the comments
Yeah.
and things like that. So hopefully, we'll get some of those and get some
Yeah.
mileage out of it, as they say.
I've had some nice reviews from the re-release.
Oh, great,
Yeah,
great.
one or two. I won't tell you, but
Yes.
it's nice.
Yeah.
And no one said anything particularly bad, which is good.
Right. Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? What is his name at PQR? What is the guy's name at PQR? He's the
George.
one yes, George. He contacted me about Skywhale, because he released that, and he's given me 2 or 3 other leads. So he just found my channel, I guess. I don't know how he did, but he sent out, and there's been a couple of other record release, companies that have reached out, and so that helps too, getting those leads like that, that
It's very nice what George does, isn't it? He picks
yes.
on very
Yes.
obscure. He said to me as well. He said I think he said it'd be one of his favorite albums for decades.
Yes.
And he was surprised that I was obscure. And
Yeah. That,
she's been changed that.
right. You know, it's what I call you guys. You guys flew under the radar. It's what you.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
We were going too fast.
Right. The radar couldn't kick.
That's right.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I'm in the same boat. I mean, I do the same kind of thing. You know, on my channel is a lot of the obscured, like you said. You know, artists, musicians that didn't make it well. You know, big in their time, but I like to shine a light on you guys. So I think he's the same kind of way. I think, you know, doing that.
Yeah, it's lovely thing to be doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else in closing, Steve?
Yeah. Well, in closing, you know, honestly, there's so much more. I went. I think I told you I played in Copenhagen. I played hundreds of gigs, but I went to where did I go first? I went to Switzerland first and played some beautiful gigs. Then I went to Tokyo, and I played hundreds of gigs in Tokyo. I think that's enough. I think I've probably played more gigs in Tokyo, and then I went back to Switzerland over a year. And I think in that year I played more gigs in Switzerland and Tokyo than I've played in England in my whole life. I was playing nearly every night somewhere.
Yeah.
And some of the players and 14-piece bands and things, and the occasional going to Italy and playing solo on my own, playing nylon string, playing beautiful squares with swallows flying over your head.
Oh,
wow! You know the beautiful. Anyway, so and I guess then I came back to England and started breeding, and I had one child. At the same time, the Skywhale album was released. My wonderful son Toby was born, and when I got back from Japan shortly afterwards, I remarried and had my beautiful daughter Alicia.
Oh, okay.
She had a beautiful brother called Jamie, who became my other boy. So I have 3 wonderful children now.
Yeah.
And again, it would take an whole hour and a half to tell you what they all do. They're fantastic. Jamie's just on his way over the Marble Mountains with about 100 people on monkey bikes.
Oh, is that right?
And before that, he was in Himalaya doing the tuk-tuk run over the Himalayas. He's the head engineer.
Is that right?
So my kids are, you know, they're following in the dad's footsteps.
I was going to say,
stepping to one side and getting on with it.
It sounds like it. Well, that's got to make you. That's got to make you proud too. Yeah, proud.
Oh, yeah. So they're lovely kids.
Yeah. You sounds like you've done a good job. Yeah, Steve, raising them. Okay. Well, again, I want to thank you, and I'm glad we finally made it happen, Steve. Yeah.
So am I. Yes, I've waited so much.
Well, again, keep me posted on the progress.
I certainly will.
Yeah.
I'll send you some stuff as well. You know, the 1 or 2 bands that I played with in the 90s and stuff that were very impressive. And I'll send you. I've got a CD. In fact, it's just an advert for the band, but it's got beautiful clips of playing festivals and stuff. Delightful. I'll send you that soon.
Yes, and some of the pictures too. Yeah, that would be nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lovely.
All right.
Thank you so much, Greg.
All right. You're very welcome, Steve, and all the best to you. Okay. All right.
Good, and you. Bye now.